Hey everybody, in today's video we are going to create a futuristic card user interface with some animated effects. It has nice design, as you can see. It has some cool lines and there is a glowing ball moving on lines. It has nice gradients which makes the card stand, and you also can see the 750K views inside the card with a small views text below it. So let's dive in. We first start with our HTML file. We will start with the body of our document. Inside the body, we have a container div. This container will hold everything else that makes up the card. Inside the container, the first element we see is a small dot div. Later, we will animate this dot so it moves around the card. After that, we have a main card div, which will contain the text and the other design parts. Inside the main card, the first element we see is a ray div. This will create a glowing ray effect across the card. After the ray, we have a text div with the value 750,000. This is going to be the main highlight number on our card. Below that, we add another div with the word views. This pairs with the number to show what the value represents. Next, we have 4 line divs, each with their own class name. These are top L, left L, bottom L, and right L. They will be used to draw glowing lines around the edges of the card. And that's it for the HTML part. It's time to work on styles. Now let's move on to the CSS. We start with the body selector. Here we set the height to be 100 viewport height, which means full viewport height. We also use display flex with justify content center and align items center. This will perfectly center our container in the middle of the screen. For the background color, we set it to black using the hex value 000000. Next, we style the container class. The width is set to 300 pixels and the height to 250 pixels. We give it a border radius of 10 pixels to make the corners rounded. A padding of 1 pixel is applied and the back set to a radial gradient. Make sure to remove any space between the radial gradient function name and the parentheses for proper CSS syntax. The radial gradient for the container is defined as a circle with a size of 230 pixels starting at the top left corner. The colors transition from white to a very dark shade with the value 0C0D0D. We also set the position of the container to relative so that any absolutely positioned elements inside it can be placed correctly. Now we style the small dot class. Its width is set to 5 pixels and the aspect ratio is 1, so it stays a perfect square. The position is absolute and the background color is white. A box shadow is added to give it a glowing effect, and the border radius is set to 100 pixels to make it a circle. We also give the small dot a z index of 2, so it stays above other elements. Its initial position is placed 10% from the top and 10% from the right. To bring it to life, we add an animation called move dot that runs for 6 seconds with a linear timing and repeats infinitely. Next, we define the keyframes for move dot. At 0% and 100%, the dot sits at the top 10% and right 10%. At 25%, it is still at the top 10%, but moved to the far left side using right calc 100% minus 35 pixels. At 50%, the dot moves to the bottom right corner using top calc 100% minus 30 pixels and right calc 100% minus 35 pixels. At 75%, it shifts to the bottom left corner with top calc 100% minus 30 pixels and right 10%. This completes the square-like motion of the dot around the card. Now we style the main card class. We set a z index of 1 so it sits below the dot. The width and height are both set to 100% to fully cover the container. A border radius of 9 pixels is applied along with a solid border of 1 pixel using the color 202222. For the main card background, we use a radial gradient circle with a size of 280 pixels starting from the top left corner. The colors transition from a medium gray 444444 to a very dark shade 0C0D0D. We also use display flex with align items center and justify content center so that the content inside is centered both vertically and horizontally. The flex direction is column to stack elements from top to bottom. The text color is set to white and the position is relative. Next, we style the ray class. Its width is 220 pixels and height is 45 pixels with a border radius of 100 pixels to make it pill-shaped. The position is absolute with top set to 0 and left 0. The background color is light gray C7, C7, C7 with opacity 0.4. A box shadow of 0,050 pixels white is added and a blur filter of 10 pixels is applied. The transform origin is set to 10% and it is rotated 40 degrees. Now we style the text inside the main card. We select the text class and set the font weight to bolder so it stands out. The font size is 4 rem, which makes it large and noticeable. To give it a gradient effect, we use a linear gradient at 45 degrees from black to white and back to black. The background clip is set to text and the color is set to transparent so the gradient shows through the text. Next, we style the line class. The width is 100% and the height is 1 pixel. The position is absolute and the background color is a dark gray 2C, 2C, 2C. These lines will serve as borders around different sides of the main card. Now we style the top L class. It is positioned 10% from the top. Its background is set to a linear gradient at 90 degrees from a lighter gray 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8 at 30% to a darker gray 1, D1F, 1F at 70%. Next, we style the bottom L class. It is positioned slightly above the bottom at 10.5%. No gradient is applied, so it uses the default line color. Then we style the left L class. Its width is set to 1 pixel and the height to 100%. It is placed 10% from the left, and its background is a linear gradient from a medium gray 747474 at 30% to a darker gray 222424 at 70%. Finally, we style the right L class. Its width is 1 pixel and height is 100%. It is positioned 10.5% from the right side of the main card. The background color uses the default line color since no gradient is applied here. With this CSS setup, we now have a fully styled container with a moving dot, a glowing ray, a large gradient text, and lines framing the main card. Each element is positioned and layered to create a futuristic card effect. So hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and if you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't joined us yet. Have a sweet time. See you in the next creative tutorial.